Hello, welcome back to the channel. FPL Consult here, and today we are going to do the Gameweek 27 deadline stream. So much has happened since we last streamed, right? I mean, there's so much information to digest from Gameweek 26 all the way until now in Gameweek 27. FA Cup results have been out. Most of us by now should have already finalized our chip strategies. I think myself included as well. I'm leaning quite strongly towards a strategy that I'll share with you guys in a bit, which should come as no surprise because I've been talking about my own strategy for a while already. And then, of course, a couple of transfers due to injuries that we've had in the press conferences yesterday. So a lot of things have happened. Some of us are forced to use our chips in Game Week 27 itself already. Some people are wildcarding. Some people have finalized that they will be free hitting in Game Week 29. So a lot of different strategies in play. So hopefully in today's stream we'll be able to get to everyone's questions. And hopefully we would have a good Game Week 27. Right, so let's get to some of the questions and also say hi to some of you guys in the chat. Thank you for coming nice and early. Already 24 of you guys in the chat. If you are here, please do drop a like so that we can get the stream to more people. So good morning, everyone. Good morning, Lewis, Joha, VJ as well, always here early. Big Fat Giraffe, Osman, J War 10, Nicholas, Sam, as well as Yong Yao Lee. So thank you very much, all of you guys, for coming early. Let's get to some of your questions before. Maybe I should touch on my team a little bit before we get to the questions, because I've already made my transfer. I actually made my transfer last night, and what transfer I made was to remove Hwang Hee-chan for Heung-min Son. So I couldn't turn this move down for a couple of reasons. Hwang already is confirmed not to have a fixture in Game Week 29. So he's already a player that eventually I will have to remove, because I need to, part of my strategy is to save the free hit for later on, either in Game Week 34 or 37. So because of that, I was kind of already planning to save the free hit in 29. And of course, if Hwang didn't have a fixture, eventually in Game Week 29, I need to remove him. So all I've done is to bring the move forward, because obviously Hwang Hee-chan is also injured now that we know. There's no timeline as to when he'll return. So because of that, it made sense for me to just move for Son, kind of bringing my move in Game Week 29 a couple of game weeks earlier. But I think there is enough upside, especially since Richarlison is injured. So Richarlison being injured is actually the one that did it for me. Son playing through the middle against Crystal Palace, even though they have somewhat of a new manager bounce, but it was Burnley that they were playing last week. So I think at home, Son could definitely wreak some havoc there. So I'm expecting Son to do quite well. And that's why he's in for Hwang. And I'll share with you guys later on how this also affects my plans for Game Week 28 as well as Game Week 29. Alright, so enough of my team. Oh, and captaincy as well. For now, it's on Saka. But I think I'm leaning towards moving back to Haaland. So before we have a chat about captaincy, let me just move the armband back onto Haaland for the time being. Right, so armband is on Haaland. It's gone back and forth. I'm sure you guys have gone back and forth with captaincy as well. So I'll get to captaincy. We have such a long time. We have 2 hours until... we actually have 4 hours before the deadline, but I started today's stream 4 hours before the deadline instead of usually starting it 3 hours before the deadline, so we can cover more questions. Alright, so Lewis says, what do you think Pascal Gross to Son and Maguire to Doughty? My overall rank is 3,561. Yeah, that's a really good rank, by the way. I would do Pascal Gross to Son and Maguire to Doughty. Those look like good moves for the long term. Seems like you are saving your free hit in 29 as well. By the way, for all the questions that you guys are sending in with regards to transfers or who to go for, do include your chip strategy if possible, or just let me know if you are free hitting in Game Week 29 or not, because that obviously changes your transfers or who you're going to bring in, who you should remove right now. Right, so if possible, just let me know if you guys are free hitting in 29 before putting your question in. Excuse me. Joha says wildcard active and just 7 players for Gameweek 29. So I'll get to a wildcard draft later. I actually have done up a wildcard draft. I meant to record a video last night, but did not manage to. So I will put on the screen a wildcard draft that I've come up with for Gameweek 27 if I was to wildcard. Alright, good morning to all of you guys. Thank you for coming early. Jay War says, would you do Ake to Zabani for a -4, and also who to start, Gordon or Palmer, and Areola or Dubravka? Right, so for keepers, for Areola and Dubravka, what I've gone with is basically just gone with Dubravka because I think both concede. But I would take a chance that because Huang is out, Cunha is also out, that maybe Wolves are less potent in attack. I mean, I still do think like Wolves will score, but the chance is higher than West Ham away. West Ham who play Everton away. Right, so I'm going to start with Dubravka there. For Gordon versus Palmer, I would try to start both. But if I have to choose one, I would bench Gordon and I would start Palmer because of the penalties. Would I do Ake to Zabani for a -4? I don't think that's necessary. I don't think I would sell Ake for a -4 to a Bournemouth defender this week. Would you start John Stones or Matty Cash? Most of the predictions that I've seen on Twitter have John Stones starting against Manchester United. And for what it's worth, I think Man City keep a clean sheet against Manchester United. So, and Matty Cash is also a little bit in a tricky situation because Konza could be back. So Konza could play right back. The prediction by most of the Aston Villa lineup or squad predictors is basically they have the back line as Alex Moreno, Clement Longley, as well as Konza at centre back, and then at right back they have Matty Cash. So we'll see what happens because there's also a chance that maybe Pau Torres could be in centre back next to Longley, and then Konza could play right back. So we don't really know there. So I probably would start John Stones, if I'm honest. I'll probably start John Stones. What to do with Areola, Dubravka, Bradley, Gabriel? One free transfer, 3.1 million in the bank. I gotta know your chip strategy. Before I can let you know what you should be doing. Which I think we should. We'll get to a point in the stream later on where I think we should discuss a bit on chip strategies. I think the benefits and maybe the disadvantages of going slightly early right now, because some people are forced, like your hand is forced into making quick decisions right now on your chip strategy, whether it is to wildcard now or whether you're forced to free hit in 29. So we'll discuss chip strategies later on. Start Taylor or Estupinian. Lamptey is back, so that's bad news for Estupinian, and I wouldn't be confident of a start. But neither am I confident that Taylor gets a clean sheet against Bournemouth. So maybe Estupinian and then take a chance that he gets an attacking return. But I don't think neither will score very high this game week. It wouldn't be that close. Play Senesi or Van Dijk. Definitely Van Dijk. Hello from Malaysia. Thank you for tuning in. Ken Mr. Bird. Kirkes or Zabani. The attacking threat is not that great from Kirkes as compared to Zabani. I mean, definitely playing left back is a more is a position that could bring more attacking threat, but I don't think it is as great as Senesi's one. So out of all the three Bournemouth defenders that people are looking at, Zabani, Kirkes, and also Senesi. Senesi is the one with the best goal threat. Not that great as well, right? But he's just better than Kirkes as well as Zabani in terms of attacking threat. So Senesi is the one to go for. But the issue is his yellow card situation. He has 8 yellow cards. So I probably would go Zabani, right? Just because I think Zabani is safer for starts, and also it's not too different, the attacking threat of Zabani versus Kirkes. Should I start Walker or Darwin Núñez? I think there's an outside shout that Darwin Núñez starts this game against Nottingham Forest. And I would generally favour the attacker, so I would start Darwin Núñez over Walker. Sam says, I'm wildcarding in Gameweek 31, free hit 34, bench boost 37, if that helps. That is... oh. Alright. So if you are wildcarding in 31, you have to manage blank Gameweek 29, in which case... Foden, Kevin De Bruyne... 3.1 million in the bank. Do you have enough for Huang to Son though? Or maybe Huang to Madison, whichever one would make sense because both of them play in 29. Bench Darwin Núñez or Pau Torres. I will bench Pau Torres. I will start Darwin Núñez. Kenny says all the best, Leon. All the best to you as well. Hopefully you guys have finalized your chip strategies. Pascal Gross, Gordon, Palmer, Foden, bench 1 please. This one is tricky. For me it's either between Gordon or Pascal Gross. It's between Gordon and Pascal Gross. It's close. Will you be benching Tony? Yeah, for now I have Tony on the bench. I think for my own team it's a decision whether I bench Tony or I bench Pascal Gross. And the argument of penalties is I guess it's on level ground because Ivan Toney has penalties. He plays Chelsea, and Pascal Gross, because João Pedro is out, is also on penalties. So in essence, I've just realized that majority of my midfielders are all on penalties. Palmer, Pascal Gross, Saka, Son, Haaland, as well as Ivan Toney on the bench. Lots of penalty takers there. But yeah, so both of them are on penalties. I don't really know who to bench. It's close. But fixture-wise, I just have Pascal Gross playing the easier fixture, though away from home. So that's kind of why he's in the starting 11 for now. It's a close one. Top G says, should I do Gordon and Ake to Son? And like Emerson, Udogi, or a Villa defender. So again, it depends on your chip strategy. Gordon to Son. It depends on your chip strategy, yeah. I would like Udogi though, but he's not 100% confirmed to start. And Villa defenders are also tricky right now to buy. Emerson, West Ham defense, still not the best, even though they did win against Brentford. So honestly, Udogi, but it will be a bit of a risk. I can play all Pascal Gross, Gordon, Palmer, Foden if I bench Tony. So I have Tony on the bench as well. It's really a question of Tony versus Pascal Gross, to be honest. There's no way I'm benching Phil Foden before he has Manchester United. Would you start Alvarez or Bruno? It has to be Alvarez. Definitely Alvarez. Top G says not using any chips in 29, then I think it'd be Udogi. Start 3 Gibbs White, Trippier, Cash, Estupinian, and Darwin Núñez. I would start Trippier, Darwin Núñez, and I mean Gibbs White has Liverpool. I guess you could take the chance because Estupinian, I'm not confident of starting Estupinian. Medicash, I guess you could take a chance, but again with Medicash, it's a situation where he could be benched. Medicash could be benched, so maybe I just go with the attacker, Gibbs White, Trippier as well as Darwin Núñez. J Warten says I'm aiming not to free hit in 29. Do you think if I can have triple Spurs, Tony, Watkins, Bowen, Taylor, Areola, maybe for a -4 the next 2 weeks, then that's good. I do think so. Because my thoughts on... I did post a tweet. Let me just look for it. Right, so let me show you guys a little bit of my thoughts on Twitter. So basically, um, there was a couple of questions that were put to me throughout the week by some of the members on how many players is enough to save the free hit in Game Week 29. So basically, my thoughts is that it's not so much of how many players you can field, but rather the quality of the players you can field, because these are the ones that have the potential to hurt you if you don't free hit in 29. So if you are able to cover majority of these players, and by the way, not all of them are must owns, right? If you can't get to all of, I mean, I don't think it's possible to save the free hit and get to all of these players. If it is possible, you may have taken a lot of hits. So it's a balance between taking as little hits as possible and covering as many of these key players for Game Week 29. So obviously Ivan Toney, Jared Bowen, Son or Madison, Ollie Watkins, which most of us should have already by now, right? Douglas Luiz is also someone. Awoni, Doughty, as well as Muniz. So all of these players here, I think, have the potential to hurt you if you don't have the free hit. But then again, you don't have to have all of them. My thoughts is that you just have to have about 5 or 6 of these players, cover your bases, and you can save the chip. Right, so really, it's not a question of how many players you can field in total for Game Week 29, but rather which are the players that you're actually fielding. Are they good enough to help you cover your bases? How do you feel about fielding 7 players? I have no chips left. 7 players for Game Week 29 is fine. 7 players for Game Week 29 is fine. Hi Leon, not on free hit 29. Planning wildcard 31. My defense includes Gabriel, Stupinian, Taylor, Doughty, regular. Should I bring in a Bournemouth defender for the double, or Emerson from West Ham? Need to take a hit there. I would prefer a Bournemouth defender because of the fixtures, if you are comparing between a Bournemouth defender as well as Emerson. Any news on Simicast playing? Not at the moment. I don't think we have any early team news yet. We are too early. We are 4 hours ahead. Well, now 3.5 hours before the deadline. Who would you start this week out of Estupinian, Doughty, or Taylor? Doughty. Start Bowen or Solanke? Right, so this question, I did expect quite a bit of questions regarding Solanke, so finally it's come. My thoughts on Solanke is, it depends. Whether you should start or bench him depends on who you are benching if you do start him. So let's say, for example, I've seen teams where they start Solanke and then you bench Palmer. I wouldn't do that. I would start Palmer ahead of Solanke. If it's Bowen, I think I would also start Bowen ahead of Solanke. My thoughts with the Solanke situation is, firstly, there was a couple of tweets by some sources on Twitter yesterday that said Solanke trained, because in the press conference, Andoni Areola said that he was going to see if Solanke could make the last training session, right? Maybe make a decision from there, right? So there was no confirmation given in the press conference. All he said was Solanke hadn't trained the whole week. The scan came back clear, but he hadn't trained the whole week, and also there's one more training session. He has to see whether Solanke can get through that. So after the press conference, there were a couple of sources that came out to say that Solanke eventually trained later that day, which was yesterday, and that was it. So there's no confirmation. Nobody knows for certain whether Solanke is going to start or not. The most we know is that he trained after the press conference that Andoni Areola had. So make of that what you will, but my thoughts is that if he's fit to play, and based off of what Areola was saying, it was as if Solanke was fit to start, that he would start. So that's my thoughts. And also the way I interpret it is also that if he's kind of not still feeling the pain from his knee injury, I don't think he would be risked. So it feels to me like a case where Solanke either starts the game against Burnley, or he misses out completely. So for those of you guys who are starting him, I don't think it would reach a situation where you start him and he get 1 pointer or 2 pointer. I don't think that would be the case. I think he either gets 90 minutes, and he wouldn't, and you basically get the full 90 minutes from him, or he doesn't come on at all and you get your auto substitution. So that is my thoughts about the Solanke situation. And then when it comes back to now, when we're making a decision before the deadline whether to start Solanke or not, I think it comes down to a couple of things. As I mentioned, who are you benching for Solanke? I wouldn't bench Cole Palmer for Solanke. I wouldn't bench Bowen for Solanke. Right? These are just like things I'm not super comfortable with. Like if you're benching Huang or I don't know, some suboptimal player, then there's no reason why you shouldn't be starting Solanke. So those are my thoughts surrounding this Solanke situation that has caused quite a bit of stir in the FPL community. I do feel slightly, I mean, if Solanke does start and he goes on a haul, definitely it could hurt my rank. But I do feel like I'm in a position where I have one more week to decide whether I want to bring Solanke in or not. Depends if he plays in Gameweek 27. I think I'm 100% going to bring him in for 28. But if he doesn't, then I'll have the rest of the week to hear from Areola about his situation, whether he'll start in 29, 28. Too many game weeks. Buy Son and sell Huang or start Darwin. Wow, this one is tricky as well. I would probably buy Son, if I'm honest. I'll probably buy Son. Son through the middle is just so hard to turn down. Son through the middle is just so difficult. Start Zinchenko, Doughty, or Branthwaite. I'd probably start Doughty for the attacking threat. Please play 2 out of Ake, Paul Torres, Konza, and Elfie Doughty, right? So definitely Doughty, and I think Doughty and Ake. Dylan says, plan is to wildcard this week, free hit 29, and then bench boost 37. So this one is an interesting strategy. I think I'm keen to know as well why people would be tempted by this strategy. So if you can elaborate a little bit in the chat, I'd be keen to know. My thoughts is that if I'm wildcarding in Game Week 27 or Game Week 28, I would rather save the free hit because I have more or less perfect information for Game Week 29 as to the teams that are blanking as well as the teams that do have fixtures. I would probably lean towards saving the free hit for later on because I think it can be quite useful there, especially with more uncertainty as to how the fixtures will fall later on, because obviously if some teams like Chelsea and Liverpool get to the FA Cup semi-finals, then that could also cause some more fixture chaos. So I would want my free hit to help me navigate the later part of the season. So I'm thinking if you are wildcarding now, I do get the idea of free hitting in 29 still, and thereafter you can just in Game Week 27 set out with a team that just targets the bigger teams like City, Liverpool, etc. But firstly, I think there's so much uncertainty as to whether the fixtures will fall nicely in the later part of the season. And also, I mean, you're taking a chance here that is possible you can navigate double game week 34 without chips, right? So I think it would be more optimal, but I'm keen to know why you would want to free hit in 29 and then while you're wildcarding now in 27. So please let me know. I think there are a couple of other strategies that are quite popular, but this one is interesting. So I just want to know if I'm missing out anything. But for those strategies that are more popular, I think the most popular one is the free hit 29, wildcard 35, and then bench boost 37. That one is probably the most popular. The second one is the most popular is the wildcard 31, free hit 34, and bench boost 37. So those I think are the two most popular strategies. Those who are in a tricky situation right now, you have a lot of injuries, I think you would be on a wildcard 27 or wildcard 29 strategy. And then there comes the question just now that we're talking about. When do you free hit? Do you free hit in 29 or you save the free hit for later on? If I was wildcarding now, I would be tempted to free hit much later on. By the way, thank you, Toby, for becoming a member. Welcome back to the Discord. Nice to have you as well. And yeah, for those of you guys who do want to become a member, all you have to do is click the join button next to the subscribe button, and you will get access to a Discord where I'm chatting with the members, and also just basically giving advice as and when you guys need it. Right, so let me just see where I left off. But basically, I'll be interested to know why wildcard in 27 or wildcard in 29, and then free hit in 28. Right, I'm very far behind on the questions, so I'm gonna skip a couple of questions. And if I do skip your question, just do me a favor and send it in again further down the chat if I do miss it. Right, so I'm not using any chips in 29 or 28. What are your thoughts on Estupiñán to Kabori for the double? I wouldn't go Kabori. He's kind of lost his place. VJ says, let's have some likes. Thank you very much for the plug, VJ. We have 148 viewers, so thank you guys for coming down. Please do drop a like and also subscribe if you haven't done so. I think we are... It came to my attention, I think just before we started the stream, that we're reaching 7,000 subscribers actually. Let me just do a check. Right, we are on 6,920 subscribers. So if we are able to get 80 subscribers somehow, I mean there's 144 of you guys watching, so if somehow 80 of you guys subscribe, we may hit 7,000 subscribers today, which would be absolutely insane. I think I can give away some memberships as well. I'm not sure. Let me just check. Right, so I have 10 memberships to give away. If we are able to hit 7,000 subscribers, I mean, whether it's this week or the next week, I'll just give away 10 memberships to you guys. Who starts between Gabriel Senesi, Pau Torres, Van Heck as well as Lamti, playing 3 defenders? So definitely Gabriel. Van Heck and Lamti, they play Fulham away. Pau Torres, I actually don't think Pau Torres starts. So I think it'll be Gabriel, Senesi, and then Lamti for attacking threat. Yeah. So he says, wow, so many questions. Yeah, there's a lot of you guys in the chat, so thank you for coming down so early. We're actually more than 3 hours, but 3.5 hours before the deadline. So it's crazy. Arthur says, am I not going to the Taylor Swift concert? Unfortunately not. Unfortunately not. What's your chip strategy at the moment? My chip strategy is to free hit only in game week 34. Right, so I'm saving the free hit. I'm wildcarding in game week 31. I am free hitting in 34, and then bench boosting in 37. I'm chasing on my mini league. Should I captain Saka instead of Haaland? I just don't think this is the week. I mean, I know that Saka is a very, very good captaincy shout this week. It's definitely not clear cut. But I don't think this does not feel like the week for me to go away from Haaland. Right? The predictions as well as, I mean, it was a simple decision for me when I was kind of deciding whether to switch the armband back to Haaland. It was whether, do I think Man City win against Manchester United at the Etihad Stadium? I think quite convincingly Man City win Manchester United. And if that happens, who do I think is going to score? I think Haaland definitely gets on the score sheet. So then it's a simple case of me just putting the armband on Haaland. It could be a case where Haaland and Saka both haul this week, so there may not be that much of a difference. But in that sense, I just rather go for the one with the higher effective ownership. Would you bench Douglas Luiz for Solanke? This is tricky. This one is tricky. Would I bench Douglas Luiz for Solanke? I think not actually. I think I would start Douglas Luiz and bench Solanke. Madison or Bowen? I prefer Madison for this week if you're transferring a player. Palmer or Douglas Luiz? Palmer. I'm on a wildcard this week. I want to keep one of Kevin De Bruyne or Foden against Manchester United, then sell him next week. Who would you keep? I would keep Kevin De Bruyne. I would keep Kevin De Bruyne. Because you're gonna sell him next week anyway, so I would just take a chance. And Kevin De Bruyne should be fit for this game as well. So his big game, Kev. Alimax says Areola over Dubravka for me this week. Fair enough. It's close. It's close. I'm just going with the one with the home fixture. FPL Jelly says, good morning. Hope all is well. Hope all is well with you too. Got defensive issues this week. Would you take a -4 so that I can bench or sell Estupinian? I already brought in Zabani this week for Pinnock. Yes, I would take a -4 to bench Estupinian because I don't think Estupinian starts. I have Adebayo. Is he a hold or sell? I think he's a hold. Depending on who your other two strikers are. If it's Haaland, Watkins, and then Adebayo, I think he's a hold and just keep him on the bench. Good morning. Why Dubravka over Areola? Everton can't score. I'm just going with the one with the home fixture. And Wolves don't have Huang, and they also don't have Cunha, so I'm just taking a chance there. Mateta or Morris? Morris. Should I start Darwin or Foden? I'll try to start both, but if I have to bench one, I would bench. If I have to bench, I would really try to start both of them. But if I have to choose one, maybe Darwin because of the minutes. Bear in mind as well that Liverpool have to play City next week in Gameweek 28, so that definitely is looming over Klopp's head, I feel. Start Solanke or Bowen? I will start Bowen. Choose one of Morris, Barkley, or Tavernier for next week. Morris. Out of those, Morris. Joseph Green says, oh, by the way, I don't think any Bournemouth midfielders are actually worth going for. Even Tavernier. I would stay away from Bournemouth midfielders. Start Alex Moreno or Doughty, Areola or Dubravka, and who to put first sub, Doughty, Moreno, or Barkley. I would start Moreno over Doughty, and for Areola versus Dubravka, I would say Dubravka, but it's close. Who to put first sub? Probably Doughty and then Barkley. Manchester Derby never be so easy in my opinion. Saka is the best choice captain for this game week. And then we go back to, I don't know, last season, if I'm not wrong. Last season, game week 9. Haaland and Foden both scored hat-tricks against Manchester United. What to do with Kevin De Bruyne? I don't think you sell him this week. I think you keep Kevin De Bruyne. Is it worth doing a -12 between game week 27 to 29 and having 10 players to play in 29? I'm personally taking a -8. I'll show you guys my transfer plans later on, but I'm personally doing a -8. So I guess a -12 is not the end of the world. I think it's all right, but you have to work out the different routes that you're gonna go. Because I understand that for some teams, if you use the free hit, not only do you take less hits, but maybe you have more players in other game weeks as well. Like you basically have to work out how many points you're giving up and how many extra players that you're going to have for the different game weeks, and decide whether it is worth it to save the free hit or just use it and not take the hits. Toby says this season is very competitive, so many keeping free hit for the upside and refuse to use it in the blank game week. Yeah, I mean there's different strategies that apply to different people, namely because our teams are all in such different states at the moment. If I had more, I'm just thinking, if I had more Arsenal players, like take for example, I had Saliba and Gabriel, which both I don't have, and both I'm afraid of this week that they would do well, but it's just the way it is. Assuming I had more Arsenal players, I think I would actually lean towards free hitting in game week 29, right? My team is in a situation where I have quite a number of players for game week 29 as it stands. I mean, somehow the fixtures fell that way, so if I'm able to, which I think I am, I will save the free in 29, right, and then wildcard in 31. Play Gordon or Nunes. Man, this one is tricky. Right, do you think Nunes starts though? If you think Nunes starts, then I will start Nunes over Gordon. If you don't think he starts, then I will start Gordon. Definitely free hitting 29. Only have 3 players for that week. Don't want to bring in 29 players permanently. So exactly, right, like what Barney said, it's exactly like that for some teams where it just makes sense for you to free hit in 29. There's no one clear strategy for everyone this season. Unlike the past couple of seasons where usually there's one very jarring strategy that is going to work, or maybe 2. But this season, I think a multitude of different strategies could be useful, especially those who are wildcarding now in 27. If you have a couple of flags already with all the injuries that we heard in the press conferences, you could be staring at about 5 to 6 flags, maybe 2 or 3 players that you don't really like, maybe an Estupinian, etc. I think there's nothing stopping you guys from wildcarding as well, right? So lots of us will be on different strategies, and I think at the end of the day, that will kind of decide, right, our path for the next few game weeks. So I don't really think there's one clear best strategy. How is Watkins captain? Go for it if you think that Watkins is going to do well. For what it's worth, he is quite high up the predicted points rankings. Adingra or Cole Palmer to start. Definitely the penalty taker. Erwin's in the chat. Nice to see another member in the chat. Haaland has scored the most goals against United than any other team in the league since joining. There we go. Who to bench, Douglas Luiz or Luis Diaz or Solanke? I will probably bench Solanke. Thoughts on Douglas Luiz? The thought of him playing deep puts me off. I don't think he plays deep. I think that was kind of settled, or that discussion was kind of settled last week when we saw he was quite advanced. Free hitting in 29. Should I bring Odegaard or Son this week? I think regardless of whether you free hit in 29 or not, Son should be a priority transfer if you don't have Son. Toby says, no way I'm going to captain Saka. If Sheffield plays a low block and double mark Saka again, it will be another 2 points, but then again, I may be wrong. Fair. But it's close. I mean, with the way Arsenal are playing right now, I definitely think they score quite a number of goals against Sheffield, regardless of whether a low block is going to happen or not. Would you play Branthwaite over Walker? No, I wouldn't. Gone Huang and Garnacho out for a -4. Son and Havertz in. Benching Solanke. Good luck all the best, Harry. Play Reguilon, or is hits worth it for a Bournemouth defender? Who will you buy, Senesi or Zabani or Kirkis? I'll probably take the hit. Not to sell Reguilon though. I'll still keep Reguilon because if your strategy is to save the free hit, Reguilon plays in 29. As for a defender, it's tricky though. if you need the defender for the long term, Zabani is the safer one because of the yellow card situation for Senesi. Sell Tony and buy Watkins for a -4. Who is the other striker? Because selling Tony essentially is you just outrightly saying that you will want to free hit in 29. How would you rate this midfield for this week on paper? Saka, Foden, Luis, Son, and Bowen. I think it's great. Maybe the only one is Luis. Wait, Douglas Luis. Yeah, Douglas Luis. Then it's fine. I thought it was Luis Diaz, but Douglas Luis is fine. I think this midfield is great. Have you already wildcarded? No, I'll be wildcarding in Game Week 31. Pickford or Martinez? Probably Martinez. So I take a -4 to take Salah out, or just play Garnacho off the bench. If I would have 7 players in Game Week 29 without taking hits, would you free hit, or maybe take a -4 to put out 8 players and save the free hit for later on? -4 and save the free hit for later on. That's what I would do. But again, as I mentioned, it's not about the number of players. It's the quality of the players that you have. Like a Tony, like a Watkins, Bowen, Son. These are players that you need to have in Game Week 29. Is Tony to Solanke for 2 game weeks and then back to Tony worth it? I mean, I wouldn't be buying Solanke this week for sure. So if that's what you're doing, I wouldn't advise it. What about Son captain? What are your thoughts? I think that's an interesting shout. Right, Son captaincy is definitely an outside shout. I think he could do well. Right, he's playing through the middle. Everything points to him doing well this week. Well, lots of questions. Thank you guys for all coming down, by the way. There's lots of you guys in the chat today. 195 of you guys. Thank you guys for coming down. I'll try my best to get to all the questions. But if you could help me out, we are very, very close to 7,000 subscribers. So hopefully we can get there on the stream. If you haven't subscribed, all you have to do is subscribe. We are 70 subscribers away. So there's over 200 of you guys here. If just half of you guys subscribe, we're gonna get there. I have Huang, Neto, Saka, Madison, and Son in midfield. Who do I sell Huang for a hit? Bowen? Probably Huang to Bowen. But you don't have Palmer as well. But you would only be bringing Palmer in right now if your plan is to free hit in 29, because Palmer doesn't have a fixture then. If you need this midfielder for game week 29, then probably Bowen. Son as a captain, good idea. Right, maybe we should put out a captaincy poll, yeah? Let's put out a captaincy poll. Captaincy, game week 27, captaincy poll. By the way, after we do the captaincy poll, I want to know what you guys are doing in terms of chip strategy. So we'll do a chip strategy poll as well. Alright, so Haaland, I'm going to put Haaland here. I'm going to have Saka. I'll put Watkins and Son as well. Right, so I think these are the... I think this week is quite straightforward in terms of captaincy. Like, who are the standout options. So let's see what you guys are thinking in terms of captaincy. Son and Morris for a -8. Who are you removing? is worth it only if you're removing players like Huang, etc. Jack says, hi, hope you're good. Would you do Foden to Son or Roll? Hope you're good as well. I wouldn't sell Foden this week. Are you worried that dead ending in 29 will cause you to lose team value since you will sell your valuable players and then get them back? Right, so I think I'll quickly, right, so right, I'm just quickly browsing through the chat before we go over to the next screen. Alright, so what I'm going to do in the next screen, in this section here, I'm going to discuss a little bit about my chip strategy, my transfers, as well as a wildcard draft, right? Because there's quite a couple of you guys here already. So I'll pause on the chat for a while. Later I'll get back to the questions, but I'll share with you guys my plan for game week 27 all the way until game week 29 at least. Right, so what I've done is I've brought Son in for Huang. So this move is already done. Come game week 28, I think I would avoid going for Bournemouth midfielder. So for me, it's really a question of whether Solanke is fit or not. If Solanke is fit, I think Haaland to Solanke is the move that I planned for quite a while already. Right, so Haaland to Solanke and Captain Solanke, Walker to Alfie Doughty. Right, so this would be for a -4. I would start Cole Palmer and Konza as well. Defense is not looking great for this week, but I'll just kind of take it on the chin. I haven't decided if I want to take an extra hit for Van Dijk out to Senesi. If Senesi does not pick up a yellow in game week 27. Right, so for now it's looking something like this. Maybe a -8. I mean, potentially a -8 is on the cards here. And then in 29, it's just my one free transfer that I'm going to use. And I'll show you how many players I can get to in 29. So after taking a -8 in 28, if I just make one transfer here, what I would be able to do, I'm likely going to do Bowen in this week for 29. So it would look something like this. 9 players. I obviously wouldn't captain Charlie Taylor, so ignore the captaincy. But these are the 9 players that I can get to. I cover majority of the bases. So Watkins, Tony, Son, Bowen, Alfie Doughty, Reguilon. I have majority of the players that I would be afraid that would hurt my rank. So in 29, I'm likely going to go with something like this. In 30, this is the week when Saka would play Manchester City. So this week, I'm okay to go without any City or Arsenal assets. So I could even consider, I have loads of money in the bank after selling Haaland. I could consider Pascal Gross to someone like Salah, right, if he's back in time for Brighton. If not, I could also do, who's the other player that I've missed out? Right, too many fixtures already. Let me just double check. I planned a couple of, I think it's Salah. I think Salah is the one. Right, either that or I can do a double up on Spurs. So I could do Madison in for this week as well. But whatever the case is, the team looks pretty decent for 30, right? Majority of the players that I would want to cover I keep saying cover the bases, but it's pretty much what we're doing all the way up till game week 30. And then 31, I'm at wildcard, right? So this week, game week 31, you will see that my team is pretty much in trouble, and also it's the fixture swing for Liverpool, Man City, and Arsenal. So in 31 is when you're going to see a lot of people who are on this strategy wildcarding. So this is likely my plan for my own team. I'll cover it in more detail in the transfer plans video for next week. But let's talk a bit about a Wildcard 27 draft right now. So I didn't manage to put out a Wildcard 27 video, even though I wanted to. So this is pretty much a Wildcard 27 draft. Hopefully it will help you guys. It's pretty template, but I think this is what works right now. It's just a question of whether Douglas Luiz or Ross Barkley, right? If you want to have an extra double game week player in game week 28, right? So that's pretty much it. Right, let me get back to all the questions. I'm so far behind. Tony or Palmer, which one should I play and bench? I would play Palmer. Would you double up on Aston Villa's defense or start Doughty? I would start Alfie Doughty. Praneet says, can't afford Chan to Son, Hwang Hee-chan to Son. Madison a good option, otherwise I have to go KDB/Foden to Son. I would do Hwang Hee-chan to Madison. Any news on Solanke? Not at the moment. Should I use my free transfer to buy Son in place of Pedro Neto? We'll have to bench Solanke then to play Son. I would lean towards doing that. I think the upside for Son is high enough this week. Thank you very much, Ahmed. Your content is S tier, very analytical and detailed. Keep growing the channel. Well, thank you very much for that. Do you think Doku starts on Sunday? I think Grealish is out, so I think there's a good chance Doku will start. There's a good chance. KDB and Hwang out, Son and Douglas Luiz in. It'll cost me a -4. So would I do Kevin De Bruyne to Son this week? I don't think I will actually. I don't think that's a move that needs to be rushed, especially when Kevin De Bruyne has Manchester United this week. Like, I honestly think that Manchester City would do pretty well against Manchester United. It could be a case where Man U just park the bus, but even so, with the gravity of how big the Manchester derby is, I just definitely see goals in there. Peter says, looking ahead, if I can only have one of Bowen or Tony, what's your advice? If you can only have one, again, it depends on your strategy. But at least for the shorter term, I think Bowen's fixtures are better. Would you start Walker or Ed Nuri? I would start Walker. I kept hold of Richarlison and Porro for this time and they are injured. That is really unfortunate. For those of you guys who really held on to them for super long, it was really unfortunate, that one. How would a wildcard with free hit in 29 look? So that one would look largely different from this draft that I have on the screen right now. It would probably have less players who... It's probably going to be less focus on players who play in game week 29. Right? So maybe you would see more Man City players for one. You would see double Arsenal defense as well. Right? So maybe you Dogi out for Saliba. You would also see more Manchester City players. Right? So essentially that's it. Oh, by the way, I did not manage to touch on it because we haven't yet really done the chip strategy discussion, so we'll get to that later on. But I wanted to discuss slightly a bit about the difference between a game week 28 and a game week 27 wildcard. A game week 27 wildcard, essentially you can you have to get rid of all your Man City players now, and if you are not free hitting in game week 29, right, you have to load up on a couple of blank game week 29 teams already, right? So that's the issue with game week 27 wildcard. The game week 28 wildcard, you get to keep your Manchester City players for now in game week 27, but after that, come game week 28, you can immediately offload on all of them, because from game week 28 onwards, the fixtures are pretty bad for Man City. So it's Liverpool, then it's a blank, and then it's Arsenal. So I definitely see a case where you could delay your wildcard and not use it now in 27 and then wildcard in 28, essentially keeping your Man City assets now for the Manchester United fixture. Herwin says chip strategy is free hit 29 and wildcard 23, 24? Wildcard 33, 34 you mean. That could work as well. I think that is the most popular strategy, to be fair. Yeah, 33 or 34. Start Kaminsky or Areola. If you're starting Alfie Doughty already, I wouldn't start Kaminsky. But I think either way is I wouldn't start Kaminsky. I'd just go for Areola there. What's a good Estupinian replacement? I already have Gabriel. Good Estupinian replacement. Again, depends on your strategy. You said free hit 29. So maybe Saliba, honestly. Maybe Saliba. But if not, Udogi, Spurs defender is decent as well. Udogi is decent. I did Gordon and Walker to Son and Reguilon. Is that good? It definitely looks like you are not free hitting in Gameweek 29. In which case, I think those moves are good moves. Right, those moves are good moves. Start Solanke or Huang to Palmer for a -4 hit and start Palmer. I'd be tempted to take the hit. But then again, it could backfire if Solanke does well. Kind of have to make a judgment call on what you think about Solanke, whether he starts or not. Betting against Haaland on the round of goals he is on right now is insane. Well, to be fair, right, let me just switch back to the... To be fair, he did score 5 goals against Luton Town. We have to be realistic here and look at the fixtures coming up. It's Liverpool away, and then it's a blank in 29, and then it's in game week 30 it's Arsenal at home, and Arsenal are the best defense in the league, even better than Man City this season. Like, they have been stellar in defense. I definitely see a case where you can go without Erling Haaland here. I don't expect... Firstly, I would be worried not having Erling Haaland. Everyone is captaining him week in, week out. But if during this period from 28 all the way until 30, I doubt anyone's going to captain him, so already that is less of a risk. Secondly, I don't think he does that well against Liverpool, blank, and then Arsenal. Right, so I could be wrong, but I think if there's a week that, or there's a time period where we can go without him, I think that is it. Just swap Solanke and Semenyo in it. It could be that way. If I still sell Haaland and Solanke is not fit, I could go for Semenyo. KDB to Son right now or Game Week 28? Game Week 28. De Bruyne to Son for a -4? I don't think so. VJ says let's get 7,000 subscribers. Thank you for the reminder. We are on the road to 7,000 subscribers, so if you are watching, if you are new here and you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. There's a good chance that we can hit 7,000 subscribers today. Let me pull up the live count. Right, so we are 60 subscribers. We're 60 subscribers away from 7,000 subscribers. So if we are able to get there today, I would give away 10. I think I can give away 10 memberships based on what we have right now. So I'll give 10 memberships away to the chat if we can get to 7,000 subscribers. So if you're watching, if you haven't subscribed, all you have to do is just hit the button. Hopefully you can get there by today. We have 1 more hour to go. Udogi and Solanke updates. Unfortunately, none of that at the moment. Unfortunately, I don't have any updates. Let me just check Twitter. Let me just check. It's too early for us to get anything, to be honest. Yeah, nothing at the moment. Nothing at the moment. Right. Start Doughty or Gusto. I have Tony. Doughty or Gusto. I'll probably go Doughty. Pascal Gross or Douglas Luiz out for Diaby. Out for Diaby. I wouldn't. If you bringing one in, I will go Douglas Luiz in for Diaby. Not out for Diaby. Madison or Douglas Luiz. I prefer Madison. For now, for the next few game weeks. KDB captain, I don't think I'll be brave enough to go there though. That one is a mega differential this week. Madison to Bowen this week, or roll and play Bernardo Silva. I would be tempted to go either Madison or Bowen and not play Bernardo. So I'll probably go like Bernardo to, I'd say Madison. Because Bowen has the away fixture. I have 5 game week 29 players right now. I'll go into 29 with 8 players. Is that okay? That's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. Bench Pascal Gross or Solanke. I would bench Solanke. Wildcard in 31, bench boost and free hit in 34 and 37. Right, by the way, let's okay, there's 200 votes on the captaincy poll already, and it's of course 68% Haaland, 17% Saka. I think we kind of have our answer there. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna end the poll. And I'll be very, very interested in this next poll. So hopefully you guys will be able to fill in this poll for me. So what is your chip strategy? Chip strategy for the rest of the season. Okay, we're gonna go free hit 29. We're gonna do wildcard 35 and then bench boost 37. The next one I'm going to put is wildcard 31, free hit 34, bench boost 37. Next one I'm going to do is wildcard 27/28, free hit in 34, bench boost 37. The last one I'm going to do is the unorthodox one, which is wildcard 27/28, free hit 29, and then bench boost 37. Right, let me know what you guys are doing for your chip strategies, because I think it's going to be quite split. It's really team dependent. At this point. So I'll be very, very keen to know what are the popular strategies, what are the different kinds of routes that we are all going. Right, so I keep missing a couple of questions apparently. Let me just have a look. Alright, so Davies family, apologies for missing your question. Start 3 of Doughty, Garnacho, Solanke, Barkley, and Walker. So 3 of them. Right, so for your case, I think I would take a chance and start Solanke ahead of Garnacho, right? Because Garnacho has Manchester United, Manchester City. So I go Solanke ahead of Garnacho. I'll start Walker as well. And then between Barkley and Alfie Doughty, I'll probably start Doughty as well. So 3 is Doughty, Solanke, and Walker. My apologies for missing the questions. There's so many questions today. By the way, please do not spam the chat. Please do not spam the chat. What's your chip strategy? I am on a game week. I'm on the second option, basically. I'm on the second option. But you have a look at the poll. You have a look at the poll and you can already see so many different... There's no one clear strategy that everyone is going for. It's quite split. Tiger and Guna says, waiting for you to answer my questions. Let me just have a look at your question. Pascal Gross or Douglas Luiz out for Diaby. So this one I would go, if you're transferring out Diaby and you're bringing a player in, I'll probably go Douglas Luiz. I have the same midfield as you and same forwards. Struggling to bench Douglas Luiz or Solanke. Douglas Luiz or Solanke is a tricky one, actually. I would probably go Douglas Luiz or Solanke. I would still think I start Douglas Luiz ahead of Solanke, honestly. FPL guy says I'm on a wildcard. 3 options for the 5th midfielder slot. Hudson-Odoi, Ilanga, and Barkley. Who'd you go for? Probably go for Barkley for the double. I'll probably go Barkley. Right, Kenneth then as well, right? Missing a lot of questions, so unfortunately I'm not able to get to every single one of your questions. Hopefully you guys understand. Right, Kevin says, Gusto, Reguilon, Garnacho rank in order to start. I would go Garnacho, then Gusto, then Reguilon. Yep. Do you think Richarlison can be a better pick than Son? Not this game week though. Not this game week. Richarlison is out. We'll be getting Solanke next week for a -4, so I want Bowen as well then. Shall I take a -4 this week and take a chance with him and bench Gordon this week? I think starting Gordon is fine. So I don't think I'll take a -4 this week just to bring Bowen in. Madison for Huang is a good option. Yes, Madison for Huang is fine. Let me just try and speed answer a couple of questions. -4 De Bruyne to Son. I'll be free hitting in Gameweek 29. Fair enough. I wouldn't do the hit now, but fair enough if you want to do it. Kath then says, I have 3 players in 29, no free hits. How many hits should I take? And minimum, how many to play? So you just need to cover majority of the bases, I feel. Right, if you have 3 players already, I'm thinking it's like Watkins, etc. You get in the other important players like Son, Tony, maybe you can get away with it. What week for me to do my wildcard? Again, depends on your strategy. The poll, which is a very interesting poll, has 44% on the free hit 29 strategy. So it's kind of what we expected, that a lot of people will be forced into a free hit 29. Bench boost 28 is interesting. Bench boost 28 is interesting. Ramadian says, bench Huang, Kudus, or Solanke. Definitely Huang. Definitely bench Huang. Free hit 29. Haven't planned a wildcard, but could do 34, 35, and then bench rules. Yep. How many players can you get for 29? I think I would be able to get to 9 players for 29, which for me should be enough to save the free hit. Thanks, Leon. No stress. You're under pressure today with a full house. You're doing a great job as always. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, all of you guys. Thank you for understanding. And I really, really do appreciate all of you guys coming down as well. All right. There's about 183 of you guys. If you haven't already, please do help me out and drop a like on the stream. We're trying to get to 100 likes. We are, I think, about 20 likes away from it. So hopefully we can get there. I'm on the same strategy as you and have Estupinian in defense. Would you take Estupinian out for Senesi this week? But that will lead to more hits for blank Gameweek 29. But Senesi will play in 30 for me before I wildcard in 31. I think it would be worth it because you would be using Senesi for quite a while. The only danger is the yellow card situation with him because you would need him for 20. You would need him now in 27. You need him in 28. You basically need him for every other game week aside from the blank. So it should be worth it. It's just a little bit dangerous, to be honest, because of the 8 wildcard situation. Semenyo and Son in, Welbeck and Jota out for 2 free transfers. Also Saka captain. Hopefully that works out for you. I have Pau, Konza and Poro. Would you just hope Konza or Pau play or take the -4? I would hope that Konza or Pau Torres plays because I think either one has to start this week. Double Aston Villa defense or start Doughty for Pau Torres? I would start Doughty. I wouldn't double Aston Villa defense. What do you think, Douglas Luiz or McAllister? Douglas Luiz. I wouldn't bench Tony. Would play him ahead of Gross this week. Fulham will win that game. It's close. I will have a bit more time to make that decision, but that's basically the only decision I have to make. I'm quite set on Haaland captain this week. Best chip strategy for people without a free hit. So I think if you don't have the free hit, your issue really is blank game week 29. So let's say for example, you don't have the free hit and you are in a situation where you're struggling with game week 29. I think now until game week 29 you focus on bringing in as many players that you can that play in 29. Maybe you ride through 30 as well and then you wildcard in 31 all the way to set up for the bench boost in 37, right? So you dead end your team into 29 is probably what I would do if you don't have the free hit. Start one Trippier, Gordon, Palmer, or Ake. Has to be Palmer. Gordon to Bowen, good. It could backfire this week because I think Gordon versus Wolves is not the worst thing in the world. What do you think of keeping Estupinian using him this game week? I don't think he starts, to be honest. Walker, Zabani, or Taylor? I'll start Zabani ahead of Walker this week. First time coming across your channel. Well, welcome to the channel. Santos is Leon the Legend. Well, thank you very much. Thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. There's close to 200 of you guys already. So for the second week in a row, we are almost going to hit 200 concurrent viewers. So that's pretty insane. Halftime says, should I play Ilanga or Doughty in place of Huang? Love the video, so thank you very much. I would probably go Doughty in place of Huang. Best Spurs asset till game week 31, Son Heung-min. Thoughts on Adingra? I think Adingra is pretty good. The only issue is he blanks in 29. He's probably the best Brighton asset to own right now. Or maybe on par with Pascal Gross. Hi Consult, will you start Pau? Even though of the off chance he might start. Don't want to play Taylor, one free transfer available. If you're keen to make a defensive transfer for a Bournemouth defender and you have one free transfer, I may do that. Would you start Stones, Levi Colwell, or Matty Cash? It's between Stones and Levi Colwell for me. I think I still go Stones. I think Manchester United struggle to score against City. Will Darwin play, or should I sell Richarlison to Son for a -4? Will Darwin play nobody knows if Darwin's going to play, but the thing is it worth it to take a -4 to sell Richarlison to Son and then bench Darwin? I would probably take the chance that Darwin starts. I would probably take the chance. Dan says, thank you, doing great, keep it up. Thank you very much, Dan. Tossing up Branthwaite or Van Heck for the third defender spot. I think Branthwaite, to be honest. Huang and Alvarez to Son and Morris for a -4. I have to take a -4 to get funds for Son. I have no bench except Estupiñán. I think these moves are good, Yogesh. I think those moves are good. Would you bring a Spurs midfielder or Arsenal this game week? This one depends on your chip strategy, right? Because Arsenal midfielders, I would only go for them if I'm on a free hit 29 strategy, right? Because they play Sheffield this week. It's a great fixture for them, but they blank in 29. So it really depends, again, on your chip strategy. Walker or Taylor? Walker. Huang to Son, yep, I like Huang to Son. Start 1, Paul, Senesi or Reguilon. It has to be Senesi. Start Robertson. Robertson is a bit of a doubt. I will still just take the chance. He's ill if I'm not wrong, but I'll take the chance on him. Klopp did not completely rule them out. So, who would have higher on the bench? Who would I have higher on the bench? Nuri or Doughty? Probably Doughty. Mosim says, where are you from, bro? I am from Singapore. I'm from Singapore. Sunny Singapore. Is -8 okay, as I have 3 players which are useless? So if the -8 that you're taking, whether it's this game week or the future game week, if it sets your team up well, go for it. This is the time where people will be taking hits. I'm already lining up a -8 next week. Would a -4, -8 be worth it to get 9 players for Game Week 29 while also having 2 Bournemouth and 2 Luton for the double in 28? Or would it be worth it to just wildcard next week? I have no free hit, by the way. And then if you have no free hit, I would save the wildcard. And dead end to Game Week 29. Because the swing after 29 is quite tricky to manage. It's quite tricky to manage if you have wildcarded before, right? So basically, if you're wildcarding before Game Week 29 and you don't have the free hit, you have to just load up on players that play in 29, in which case you would be struggling to maneuver your team, right? So that it would be good for the future game weeks from 31 onwards when the fixtures swing. For all the big teams, right? For Arsenal, for Liverpool, for Manchester City. What do you think of Pascal Gross to put in your team? If you have him, I think you keep, for sure. Start Raya or Leno. This is not even a question. This one is Raya for sure. Luis or Bailey? If I'm buying one this week... Oh wait, I missed another question. Huang to Luis or Bowen or Son or Sarabia. Free thing in 29. Free thing in 29, then it's either an Arsenal mid or Son, if you ask me, if you're free hitting in 29. Luis or Bailey, I prefer Luis for certainty of minutes. Offcut says, love your channel, thanks for answering all the questions, thank you very much. On a side note, you'd make bank if you FPL and ASMR. Good luck this week. Well, good luck to you as well, and thank you for the kind comment. VJ says 5 likes away from 100. Are we at 100? Well, we are 3 likes away from 100 likes. So if you guys could help me out there, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. By the way, we are also 50 subscribers. There's a couple of you guys watching already. We are 50 subscribers away from 7,000 subscribers. So if we get to 7,000 subscribers, I'll give away 10 memberships for all of you guys to join the Discord, right? Where I'm in there chatting every day. So we can get there. I think 50 subscribers, maybe in the next half an hour we could be able to get there, hopefully. We are so close. Alright, keep up the great content. Thank you very much, key marker. Colwell or Reguilon first bench? Colwell or Reguilon first bench? Probably Colwell. Porro isn't going to play, so it doesn't really matter where you put Porro. John David says, my midfield right now is Odegaard, Saka, Gordon, Rodrigo, and Garnacho. Should I do Rodri to Foden, Palmer, or Madison? Again, depending on your strategy, but I think I would be tempted to do a Spurs midfielder because you already have Odegaard and Saka. So it could be Madison for me, right? But the fact is you don't have Palmer though, which I think Palmer will do well this week. The only issue is that he blanks in 29. So if you don't need this midfielder for 29, then Palmer. If not, then Madison. Maxwell says -8 for Huang or -8 Huang for Son or -4 Huang for Palmer. Tricky this. I think -4 Huang for Palmer. I wouldn't want to take that big of a hit this week. But the caveat is if you need Son for 29, then it's worth it, right? Again, it's all dependent on chip strategy. Hardy says, roll transfer or Son and Senesi in for Richarlison and Walker for a hit. I would take the hit, Hardy. Tiger and Guna says, can you please explain why use those wildcard in those weeks, please? So, let me just... Right, so why wildcard in those weeks? Well, firstly, for game week, for the first strategy, I'm looking at the poll right now. For the first strategy, the wildcard in 35 is basically because you can dead end your team into 34, which is a week where majority of the teams that are doubling will not double in 37. So you dead end your team in 34, you get in all those players who double then you wildcard out of that team so that you can set up for the bench boost in 37. Right, so that's the idea of a wildcard 34. 31 is basically when the fixtures swing for the big teams, and it's also close to after game week 29, where most teams would be dead ending into 29 or loading up on game week 29 teams. And come game week 31, we will not be well set up. If you avoid using the free hit in 29, your team will just not be well set up for 31 onwards. So that's when the fixtures swing. So that's when we will wildcard into a team that looks good for the rest of the season. For the wildcard 27 and 28, it's basically for teams that aren't doing well right now. You're struggling with injuries. You're struggling with putting out a starting 11 and your team does not look good for 29 as well, you use a chip now that enables you to save the free hit in 29, and then you free hit in 34, bench boost in 37. Right, and then of course, lastly, the last strategy, which is slightly different, it's the one that I don't really like the most, because you're using chips in very, very close succession. You're not really maximizing it, if I'm honest, which is a wildcard in 27 or 28 and then a free hit in 29. It's too soon, if you ask me. You have enough information already about 29 that you can save it. Gary says, Gameweek 29 has to be free hit or wildcard for those with chips available. I don't think 29 is a wildcard week. Free hit probably. But wildcard in 29 will be very tricky. Can't see any way around it. The teams playing are rubbish. Yeah, so it's either wildcard earlier or in 31, or you free hit in 29, basically. Like some form of a chip has to be used around that time period. So as much as I'm not using it in 29, I will already be using it in 31. It's kind of a time period where it'll be tricky to navigate. Any lineup news? Thanks for the reminder. Let me just check. I doubt we will get anything so early though. Not anything at the moment. Just checking Twitter. Not anything at the moment. Give me a moment. Let me just fix something. I'll be back very, very quickly. Just give me a quick one. Right, so I'm back. Apologize for that. My apologies. Any news on Solanke? Not at the moment. FPL Harry said he had a reliable source saying Solanke is starting. I don't think FPL Harry said that Solanke is starting. I think FPL Harry said that he trained. That's pretty much it. Let me just find the code. Right, so I'll put it on screen for those of you concerned about Solanke. Right, so this is the tweet from FPL Harry, but there's no indication of a certainty as to whether Solanke starts. So he caveat by saying that he will not firstly get anything more pre-deadline, but he said that Solanke trained in tomorrow's, and is planned to be in tomorrow's training. If all continues well, he will start, but of course he could flare up. So basically, he didn't commit to whether Solanke is definitely going to start or not. It's just basically him telling us that Solanke managed to train. I wouldn't read too much into it, right? Because it's not as if it's for certain that he starts. Great liking. I think we are on 100 likes if I'm not wrong. We are on 121 likes. We are on 121 likes. Thank you very much. Like, I don't think I've ever hit 121 likes on stream. Thank you very much for that. Do you think Estupinian will be lined up? I don't think Estupinian will start. Kamara says, please advise, I'm confused. Yes, what can I advise you on? Should I transfer Foden to Son this week or roll? Foden to Son this week? I don't think so. Start Solanke or Gordon? I will start Gordon. Luton players to replace Man City next week if not free hitting in 29. 3 games to 1 and City play Liverpool there in 1. This is something I'm considering, right? That's why I'm selling Walker for Alfie Doughty, and I'm also selling Haaland for I'm selling Haaland for Solanke. Then maybe I consider going Van Dijk to a Bournemouth defender as well. St. Ledger says, evening Leon from New Zealand, starting Gusto, Bradley, Branthwaite this week. Are there any better defenders to bring in who are also good for 29? Maybe Reguilon, but this is not the week to bring him in. Aside from that, Udogi. I don't mind Udogi as well. I have Solanke starting with Pedro Neto as a first sub. Should I go for selling Neto to buy Son and play him Solanke on the bench? I have 1 free transfer. I guess you have to make a judgment call on whether you think Solanke starts. It's pretty much a gamble. Dubravka or Areola this week. So I'm starting Dubravka for the home fixture. Zeba says, please don't bench Tony against Chelsea. The Chelsea defense is a mess. Chelsea defense is a mess. Yeah, I mean, that is fair. That is fair. I am a Chelsea fan after all. Tiger and Goodness says, thank you for answering my question. Well, no worries at all. Keymaker says, also, I have Trippier, so don't know if I should double on Newcastle defense. Who's your other? Oh, Dubravka. And if you want to spread your risk, you can go for Areola in goal. In fact, I think that's what I do. I'll probably go Areola if I'm starting Trippier. Start Trippier or Ake, I'll start Trippier. Right, Kamara has Areola, Turner. Defense is Stupinian, Saliba, Dallo, Taylor, Kabori. Midfield is... I'll probably get rid of Huang. It's either that or you start Solanke, right, and then make a defensive transfer. Because it looks like your team needs a defensive transfer, Kamara. 222 likes and climbing. Let's go. Start Solanke or Foden? Definitely Foden. Walker says, hello FPL Consult, love the content. Can we get a news roundup? Thank you very much for liking the content. News roundup. Let me just see. There's many sources on Twitter that do very good, right? Let me recommend an account for you guys to follow. This is one of my good friends on Twitter, and they do a roundup of the injuries. So I think this is right. I'll put the tweet up. But this is really good in terms of summarizing. So it's all about FPL on Twitter. So giving them a shout out because I think they give really good content. They're actually a fantasy football blog, so do support them. They're actually the best editorial award for the fantasy football content or football content awards, right, that happened recently. So show them some support. And basically they have rounded up all the injuries. So for Bournemouth, right, as we know, Solanke is having a knee problem, but he trained this week. Hasn't trained is based off of the press conference, but FPL Harry said that he trained. And then for Spurs, we know Richarlison is out. Udogi could be in contention. Porro will take another week. Huang is injured. In other news as well, I think the rest we pretty much know already. For Aston Villa, Konza and Pau Torres will be in the squad, and late decision will be made on them. For West Ham, I think Bowen is fine is pretty much it for West Ham. Lamptey is back, right, for Brighton. For Brentford, Ben Mee is injured, so definitely that. Yeah, Brentford's entire first choice back four is injured, so it's not great for Brentford. Mbuemo being close to a return is helpful. It is helpful. Botman is fine, right? And I think that's pretty much it. Right, Jimenez is still out. João Palhinha, right? João Palhinha is still suspended, right? Because it's a 2-match suspension, because of 10 yellow cards. So basically, it will be a Brighton team. It will be a Brighton team that would be playing against a weaker Fulham side, and yeah, that's pretty much it, right? So that's a roundup. Hopefully, it was comprehensive enough. Will Estupiñán play? I don't think Estupiñán will play. Right, should I start Menu, Kilman, Gusto over Solanke? Also have Estupiñán in my team. Should I bench him too? I think you bench Estupiñán and you start. I would start Gusto instead of Estupiñán. Menu maybe not. Kilman also I wouldn't. I would start Gusto ahead of Estupiñán, and then I will start Solanke ahead of the rest of them. Play Simicas or Dalo. I would play, man, because I actually think Robertson would play against Forest, despite his illness. Andrew Diamond says, good luck this week. Another Solanke question. Currently have Solanke in the 11 with only Estupiñán on the bench. -4 for Estupiñán as a Bournemouth defender as insurance in case Solanke doesn't start. Thanks. Yes, I would do that. I would do that. And in fact, I would do it and then I would start the defender. VJ, thank you very much, VJ, for the plug as always. Appreciate it. We are, let's see how far we are away from. Oh my gosh, we are nearing 7,000 subscribers, guys. We are nearing 7,000 subscribers. If you are watching, if you are new, if you have been watching all this while but you haven't subscribed, please help us get there. Please help us get to 7,000 subscribers. We're so close to the milestone. Whom to start, Areola or Sanchez? I'll probably still go Areola. I'm not so sure that Sanchez comes back in right away. Should I transfer KDB for Son this week? I wouldn't do that. Solanke is like Saka or Bowen. If he trains, he will start for sure. There's no chance I would bench him. Fair enough. Fair enough. It is still, after all, Burnley, right? So it's not the worst thing in the world if Bournemouth don't have Solanke in that game. Do we know if Udogie is likely to start? Right, we don't have any confirmation yet. Sanchez has Brentford away, but I'm not so sure Sanchez is going to start. I'm not so sure Sanchez will start. Keep the content. Thank you very much. BJ says we've just beaten the live stream like record. Thank you very much. We're almost at 150 likes already. We're so close. Thank you very much for all the likes. 144 is, I think, unprecedented. We have never hit 144 likes on a stream. So thank you very much. Mark Casserly says, need some help with my team. Areola, Dubravka, Van Dijk, Gabriel, Estupiñán, Porro, Taylor, Saka, Foden, Richarlison, Gordon, Palmer. How many free transfers? How much in the bank? What's your strategy for the next few game weeks? Mark. Is Pedro Porro starting? I don't think Pedro Porro will start. The news is not good for him. Probably next week is the earliest. Then should I sell Sanchez for Neto? I don't mind Sanchez for Neto this week. Huang to Odegaard. If your strategy is to free hit in Gameweek 29, I don't mind it at all. If I transfer Huang out, who's my best swap to get? I'll have 6.4 million in the bank. That's not a lot. 6.4 million, I think the best replacement right now, if you don't have Palmer, it's definitely Palmer. But if not, maybe Douglas Luiz or Bailey. Solanke is 50% chance to play, so benching him makes more sense. I usually take it with a pinch of salt, like what the rankings are for the FPL, the official FPL website gives, right, in terms of percentages. I usually take it with a pinch of salt. Play Tsimikas or Dalot. Tsimikas or Dalot, Tsimikas or Dalot is difficult because I usually think Robertson starts and then Dalot is just playing Manchester City. I probably just go Dalot still and hope attackingly he gets something. Odegaard versus Saka. Somehow managed to stay 200k OR without owning Saka all year, but Arsenal seem to finally have hit multi-goal form, scared of getting burned. I definitely would prioritize Saka first because it seems like penalties is back on Saka for good, right? And early season they were winning 1-0, 2-1, scoring was spread across, so we went without Arsenal attackers. I think now at 200k, going without Saka for that long and being at 200k is quite a feat, I have to say. I would try to prioritize Saka ahead of Odegaard for sure. Mark says, I have one free transfer, don't have enough to go Richarlison to Son. Richarlison to Maddison then. Richarlison to Maddison. Or if you are on a free hit 29 strategy, then maybe Richarlison to Odegaard could be considered as well. Is Cash the Villa defender with the most upside? Did ending into game week 30. 7k subs so close. Yes, thank you very much. Hopefully we can get there. Did ending the game week 30, so Cash the Villa defender with the most upside. I don't think so actually because Konsa is back. Pau should be back sooner rather than later. So I think Cash could be benched very soon. What's your FPL ID? My FPL ID is 21700. 21700. Right, by the way, it's quite interesting to see the chip strategy poll. It's about 300 votes, so the sample size is quite good. And you see that half of them, or half of the poll results are already showing that people are on the free hit 29, wildcard 35, bench boost 37 strategy. So fair enough, I think that could work for most teams. Right, for my team, I think I'm still leaning on the second strategy. It could work. Both will pan out and kind of shape the rest of the season. So unfortunately, it could be a case where our hand is forced right into either of these strategies. For the other ones, wildcarding slightly earlier, I think it is less popular. For a good reason, I think people are looking at their teams in 27 right now and thinking maybe they're alright. Right? Maybe they're alright. I was thinking of transferring out Wang Hee-chan and bringing in McAllister. I don't think I would do that. Not McAllister. Winston says one free transfer, planning a -4 to bring in Son. Other transfers to fund Son move, and this player doesn't even start note going into game week 28. Worth it. If you're gonna wildcard in 28, worth it to take a -4 to bring Son in. I mean, if you're really afraid that he does well, it's not the worst thing in the world, but to take a hit, you're already down and you're wildcarding next week. If you're able to get to Maddison for free, I may just go Maddison instead of Son. Start Solanke or Foden? I would start Foden. Gordon or Palmer if only to pick one to play. Palmer on penalties. Start Dubravka or Areola. I have Areola starting for my team. Start two of Palmer, Foden, and Bowen. I would start Palmer. Between Foden and Bowen, I would probably start Foden. Dunk or Kiwior for a -8. I don't think I would go there. Do you think Alvarez will start versus Manchester United? Yes, I think he will start. I think Alvarez will start. Let me just take a look at the predictions that I usually refer to on Twitter. Right, so I usually refer to Alex on FPL Twitter, and basically this is his prediction, which I think is usually quite he's got quite a good record, to be fair. Right, so this is his season average, right? 9.24 million, 9.24 players out of 11, right? So he's usually quite accurate. Right, so Haaland, Foden, Alvarez, De Bruyne, and Bernardo. Rodri, definitely he's going to be there. Ake, Ruben Dias, Stones, and Walker. So I think Alvarez, Foden, Haaland, and De Bruyne, definitely something that we're going to see because it's Manchester United. It's a big game. I think that Pep would field his key attackers there. Right, for Bernardo Silva, he's usually the one that makes the team tick, right? So I kind of agree with this as well, right? And then have a strong 4-man attack there, and then Rodri as always, and the defense looks pretty much, I think, probably the first choice defense right now as well, right? So I don't think I have anything much to disagree with this prediction, right? I actually think this is probably what he'll go with, but he is Pep after all, so. Right. Last couple of questions. We're gonna end the stream in 20 minutes. We're gonna end the stream in 10 minutes. So if I haven't gotten to any of your questions, please do drop it in the chat. Drop your questions in the chat. We'll try to get to every single one of them before we end the stream. If Solanke doesn't start, in Gameweek 28, would you put the triple captain on Morris? I don't think so. I think I will wait till later on because there's some talk about a double Gameweek 36 or 35. I may wait until then if Solanke doesn't start in 28. Would you captain Saka or Son? No Haaland in the team. Probably captain Son if I have no Haaland. Team is Areola, Pickford, Gabriel, Walker, Trippier, Van Dijk, Tarkowski, Saka, Palmer, Kroos, Douglas Luiz, Foden. Wow. Who do you bench? You have 8 very solid attackers. I either bench Pascal Gross or Douglas Luiz. Either one of them. Right, that's 4 attackers. And then I'll play 3 defenders, so probably Gabriel, Van Dijk, and Trippier. Probably bench Walker, Tarkowski, and Tarkowski. Yep. What's the best Aston Villa defender to go for over the next 3? Can't figure out who will start all 3. That's the issue, right? With Aston Villa defenders, it's tricky to even Moreno, who's starting right now, could be rotated with Luka Dean. So honestly, once Konza is back, and if he's unscathed throughout the whole game, I think Konza is the one to go for. But it's just tricky to make a call right now. Carrie says neither can Unai. Connor says, what's your opinion? Zinchenko, the Kiro, and Ben Heck for Zabani for a -4. Arsenal defenders, I wouldn't go for Kiro. I would just go either Saliba or Gabriel. If I can't afford either of them, I don't think going without those two, right? The upside is just, it's worth it to just pay a little bit more for them. Cash or Doughty? Doughty. Huang and Estupinian to Son and Senesi for a -4. Yep, I like those moves. Bench 1, Odegaard, Saka, Gordon, Son, Watkins, Tony and Haaland. Tony. Tricky, but Tony. Alright. I think we're going to end the stream here today. Let me just head back to my team. I don't think we'll be able to... Unfortunately, I don't think we'll be able to hit 7,000 subscribers today. But that's okay. Thank you for tuning in. Maybe in the next stream we'll hit 7,000 subscribers and we can give away some memberships there. Is Son essential? Can only get to him by selling Foden. I don't think I will go Foden to Son though this week. I just think Foden does pretty well this week as well. I have Huang, however he's injured. Should I bring in Palmer? Yes, I think you should. Tony or Douglas Luiz? To start, I will go Tony instead of Douglas Luiz. Estupinian or Doughty? Doughty. Alright, so that's pretty much it. We are going to leave it here for today. Let me just confirm the team. Right, so I haven't spoken much about my team because I think the decision is pretty much made. It's just a question of... I'll start Dubravka in goal. Right, Van Dijk, Konza and Walker, I think they seem fine. Palmer, Foden, Gross, Saka vice captain, Son, and then Haaland, Watkins up front with Haaland captain. I think this is likely still the way I'm going to go. Right, and then up front it's Areola. On the bench is Areola, Tony, and Taylor for regular and last on the bench. I don't think if I do change it, it'd either be Gross to the bench and Tony in the starting 11. If not, I'll just stick with this team. Right, I don't think I have to make too many changes. Alright, so I'm going to leave it as this. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. We had a 2-hour stream, so thank you guys for coming down. We should be able to... Wow, we are actually... the subs are coming in. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to hit... Right, leave it on for a while. Hopefully we can get to 7,000 subscribers if I leave it on for a while here. But if not, I think we may have to wait until after Gameweek 27, maybe Gameweek 28. Right, so I'll leave it on for a while. If you guys have any questions, I'll continue to get to your questions. Start Areola or Leno and Solanke or Pascal Gross. Areola or Leno? I'd probably go Areola. And then Solanke or Pascal Gross, I would go for Pascal Gross. Right, Ismail says, thanks mate. Yeah, no problem at all. I'll bench Foden to be honest. I don't think I will bench Foden. Son for Salah. The thing is, if you already have Salah, he plays... Next week he has Manchester City. And then he blanks and he has Brighton. I think there's a decent chance. There's a decent chance that you could just go without Salah for the next few, provided you're wildcarding. Right, so maybe Son for Salah could work. Right, Son for Salah could work. Like, thinking about it right now, actually, it probably will work. Good luck, FPL managers. Plenty of green arrows. Is it viable for Son to replace Salah this week? Yeah, it's again another Son and Salah question. Son and Salah. Would I do it this week? I think I would. Right, because Salah plays City next week and then he blanks in 29. Plays Brighton after that. But by then, you're probably wildcarding soon anyway. So I think it could work. Any news on Darwin? Not at the moment. I don't think we have any news on Darwin. Let me just check. Let me just make sure that we are... Let me just check on the team news. Nah, no news for now. Alright, so I'm gonna leave it as this. Right, thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate all the support that you guys have shown. All the best for Gameweek 27. Hopefully you guys manage to secure or decide on your chip strategies as well. We are nearing 2 hours before the deadline, so loads of other content creators are streaming. So do head on over to their channels, all the other big YouTubers, FPL Raptor, Foco, Harry as well. So go over there and show your support as well. But if not, thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys in more Game Week 28 content. It's coming soon. It's a double Game Week 28 game week next week, so lots of things to look forward to. But I'll catch you guys very soon. All the best for Game Week 27. Bye bye.